Genesis 14 brings a change to Abraham's story. We leave the quiet of family and enter the noise of battle. This change is important. It shows us God is present even in war. God is always with us. He is with us even when there is fighting. He is working in every situation, big and small. He is always moving, always fulfilling His plan. Before this, we traveled with Abraham from his home. He journeyed far to Canaan. God promised him this land, a land of milk and honey. The journey was long and hard. Abraham faced many difficulties. Famine came to the land. People were hungry. Abraham went to Egypt to find food for his family. He wasn't perfect. He made mistakes along the way. Abraham and his nephew Lot separated. They divided their families and flocks. They went their own ways. We saw God's judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah. God destroyed these wicked cities with fire. This showed His anger. Genesis 14 comes right before another important promise. God promises Abraham a son, Isaac. Isaac will continue Abraham's family. He will inherit the promised land. The war in this chapter makes God's promise even stronger. It shows God's faithfulness. He keeps His promises no matter what happens. Even when there is trouble and fighting, even when things seem uncertain and chaotic, God remains faithful. Genesis 14 explores important ideas of war and peace. Kings wanting land and power fought to expand their kingdoms. They wanted to control others. This desire caused much suffering. People experienced pain and hardship. Kings made agreements, then broke them. This shows us something about people. We are not always trustworthy. Our words can be empty. God is different. God is always true. His promises are strong and sure. They never change. In this chapter, Abraham is very brave. He rescues his nephew Lot. This is more than family loyalty. It shows God working through Abraham. God uses Abraham to save Lot. We meet different kings in this story. Some are evil, wanting only power for themselves. Chedorlaomer leads the attack. He is a powerful and ruthless king. Then there is Melchizedek. He is a righteous king and a priest of God Most High. He is a special person, a mysterious and important character. Melchizedek points us towards Jesus, the true king and priest. Jesus is our ultimate king and priest. This chapter makes us think, does God care about us? Does He act in the world? Abraham rescued Lot. Was this just family duty? Or was God guiding him? Who is Melchizedek? Why does Abraham give him a tenth of what he won in battle? What does this tell us about God and people? What does it show us about their relationship? These are important questions to consider. Genesis 14 tells a story of kings and battles. It is like other old stories, filled with conflict. We meet several kings: Amraphel, Arioch, Chedorlaomer, and Tidal. These powerful rulers joined together. They made a strong alliance. They wanted to expand their kingdoms. They wanted more land and wealth. One king ruled Shinar. This is where the Tower of Babel was built. This reminds us of human pride. We often challenge God. Elisar and Elam were powerful kingdoms. They were important in the ancient world. Goim means nations. Tidal's army had soldiers from many different lands. This shows the wide reach of the conflict. These kings ruled over other kings. These were vassal kings. They paid tribute. This showed they were under the other king's control. These vassal kings lived in the cities of the plain. These cities were Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Bela, also called Zoar. The Jordan Valley was a good place to live. It was fertile and prosperous. These cities were wealthy. For 12 years, the 5 kings obeyed. They paid tribute. Then they rebelled. They stopped paying. They defied the 4 kings. This started the war. This act of rebellion had serious consequences. The 4 kings attacked. They marched through many places. They conquered and plundered. They went through Ashtaroth Karnaim, Ham, Shaveh Kiriathaim, the mountains of Seir, and El Paran near the desert. They were a powerful army. They moved across the land. The biggest battle happened in the Vale of Siddim. This is now under the Dead Sea. The kings of Sodom and Gomorrah lost. Some ran away to the hills. Others died in the tar pits. Lot, Abraham's nephew, was captured. He was taken prisoner. This was a terrible blow for Abraham. Abraham heard the news. Lot was captured. Abraham lived in Hebron near the oaks of Mamre. He worried about Lot. He gathered his men. He had 318 trained servants. They were not soldiers, but they were loyal. They would fight for Abraham. They went to rescue Lot. It was a dangerous mission. Abraham followed the enemy. He chased them north to Dan. This is north of the Sea of Galilee. He attacked at night. He surprised the enemy. He divided his men. He won the battle. He rescued Lot. He got back everything that was stolen. This was a remarkable victory. The king of Sodom was thankful. He met Abraham. He offered Abraham all the recovered things. Melchizedek also came. He was the king of Salem. He was a priest of God Most High. He blessed Abraham. He gave him bread and wine. This reminds us of communion. Melchizedek is a mysterious person. He is holy. He is important. He points to Jesus, the true king and priest. Abraham recognized Melchizedek. He gave him a tenth of everything. This showed his respect for God. The king of Sodom wanted Abraham to keep everything. Abraham refused. He didn't want the king to take credit. Abraham trusted God. He did not trust earthly kings. Genesis 14 shows us different kings. The 4 kings wanted power. They represent worldly ambition. The kings of Sodom and Gomorrah were victims, but they were also wicked. Melchizedek is different. He is righteous. He represents peace. Abraham is also different. He trusts God. He follows God. He knows God is the true king. Abraham rescued Lot. This shows his loyalty. Promises are important in the Bible. God made promises to Abraham. Abraham was faithful to his family. This is like God's faithfulness to his people. Melchizedek is a mystery. He points to Christ, king and priest. We don't know much about him. Hebrews compares Melchizedek and Jesus. He blessed Abraham. He gave him bread and wine. This is like the Lord's Supper. Genesis 14 is a story of war, but it points to God. It shows God's power. He rules over everything. It shows us promises and faithfulness. It introduces a righteous king. This king points to Jesus Christ. Abraham was courageous. He faced powerful kings. He trusted God. We can learn from him. Melchizedek blessed Abraham. This reminds us of Jesus, our priest and king. What can we learn? Do what is right, even when it is hard. Help those in need. Trust in God. He gives us strength and peace. Jesus is our king and priest. He offers us salvation. He offers us eternal life. Genesis 14 is important in God's plan. It shows God's control. He is in control even during war. It shows us promises and faithfulness. It introduces a righteous king. This king points to the Messiah. This king points us to Jesus. Next, we will read Genesis 15. This chapter is about God's covenant with Abraham. It tells us about circumcision. This is a sign of God's promise to Abraham. Remember Genesis 14. Remember Abraham's courage. Remember his trust in God. Have faith like Abraham. Trust in God. Jesus is our King. He brings peace. He offers us hope and salvation.